right? But I saw Pro Football Talk had a story this morning that Chicago Bears should call the Niners about Kyle Shanahan. And I know what you're saying. Whoa. Take a deep breath. Timing is everything. So first of all, let's establish this to be true. At any one time in my life, there's been about 4 to 5 rock star head coaches, like any industry, tech, law, medicine, football coaching. At any one time, the NFL's got 5 rock stars. They're just better than everybody else. Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers, completely changed the franchise with the same roster. Sean Payton in Denver takes over Chernobyl. Now they're going to make the playoffs. Sean McVay to the Rams, dead franchise, double-digit wins year 1. Rockstar. Andy Reid, Chiefs are lost to the playoffs to a dynasty. Shanahan's considered in that class. And I'll get to more about Kyle later in the show. The only thing that amazes me is that more people, more owners don't consider this. Hello, Harbaugh, McVay, hello. I mean, when the Niners were terrible, they got Jim Harbaugh. And then he left and they got terrible. And they got Kyle Shanahan. Now, we didn't know Shanahan was a rock star head coach at the time, but we knew he was a rock star coordinator. At the time, he was the best coordinator in the league. And I look at all these Bears candidates. Oh, Ben Johnson. He's an OC. Let's be honest. Little different guy, little quirky guy, doesn't have the gravitas. If I had to guess, he is great coordinator, not a head coach. That's my guess. Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. Well, he's a great recruiter. Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter in the NFL. He could be. But I would give up multiple picks for Kyle Shanahan. Because even first-round picks, you don't really know what you're getting. You really don't know what you're getting after about the first 8 picks. And even sometimes in the first 8 picks, you're like, yeah, about 8 practices in. That doesn't work. You know what you're getting with Kyle Shanahan. You're going to get that run game, the schemes. Now, here's the other thing. And you're thinking, why would he leave? In my lifetime, there has been one quality that smart people have shared, men and women. One quality. And it's not where you went to college. It's not who you know. No. The smartest people, the Murdochs have been great at this. They get out of the movie business at the perfect time. They get out of the regional sports networks at the perfect time. The ability to understand timing, okay, is really, really the one thing in my life that highly successful people, Mark Cuban, by the way, just sold his NBA franchise. He knows something, right? He was the guy that came in, the young, brash owner. Nobody treated their players like Mark Cuban. He changed how players were treated. He was ahead of the curve. Now he's selling his team. Probably knows something. Look at Kyle Shanahan's situation. Smart guy. Don't know Kyle, know many that do. Smart guy. About to have to pay Brock Purdy, who's now a little small and hurt for the second time, to compete against Mahomes and Allen and Lamar and Herbert and C.J. Stroud and Jalen Hurts. Brock Purdy. You want to roll with that? You don't have a trophy yet. That's your trophy quarterback? Secondly, Christian McCaffrey. Clearly, and I love him, he has peaked. Third, it's an old, expensive, increasingly brittle roster. And here's Chicago. Coach fired, coach fired, coach fired, coach fired. Are the Bears smart enough to look at the Rams and go, look what McVay did? This has a Tony Dungy to the Colts feel, where you had this surging young star quarterback. Tony's in Tampa and says, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to get my side of the ball right. And Tony Dungy to Manning, the perfect fit.
Okay. You know what this has a feel to? This is a April off season. We have nothing to talk about, but we got to talk about football because everyone loves football feel to it. Okay? I don't even know which direction I want to even look at this from the Bears' perspective, the 49ers' perspective, from Shanahan's perspective. I mean, we're all over the map here. with this conversation right now. Because first off, the other day, Colin was ripping Chicago ownership, their whole like their whole like structure in terms of like how they have like their owner GM and they have like a president or whatever, whatever it is. Ripping all of that, saying Chicago's a mess. And I know he kind of turned around and said, hey, Caleb is great and all of that, and so it's still a great destination. But he's praised the 49ers for years of having great ownership, great GM, right? Just being a highly, highly run franchise. So I know it's a little bit of a mess right now, but it doesn't mean that you just automatically abandon that. He now says, like, oh, Ben Johnson, he's just a coordinator. Well, wasn't just Shanahan. You literally just said earlier in the conversation that Shanahan was we didn't know how Shanahan would be as a head coach. We didn't know he would be a rock star head coach. He was just a coordinator. And now you jump and just say, well, Ben Johnson's just a coordinator. And it's like, well, wait, that doesn't make sense. Everyone's just a coordinator until they're a head coach. So to be clear, if you're a Bears fan, you should absolutely want Shanahan. Absolutely, of course. But also earlier this season or throughout this season, people like Colin have been ripping Shanahan for running the same type of offense again and again and again and again and again. And it's just like, again, it's just like, who does this work for? Why would the 49ers want to let go of Shanahan? And if you're saying, oh, well, Shanahan can see the writing on the wall, he should leave and move. Like, he doesn't want to try to continue to build something with the 49ers. If Brock Purdy isn't the right move, then he would say, hey, move on from him. I don't want him. Let's draft someone. Like, let's pick up someone in free agency. I don't know. So I'm just kind of confused why Shanahan would just casually say, okay, I'm going to go to Chicago now. And if he really believes in what that team is doing, then that's fine. But I don't know when that's really been done in that light like that. I'm a little confused how this would all possibly unfold for both teams, for that matter, for both parties involved. Yes, the Chicago, and this is what I said yesterday when I did the video about the head coaching job for Chicago Bears. Like, getting an absolutely established head coach is the smarter play. When you have a quarterback like this who is young also and needs to be developing. Because when you're trying to develop a young quarterback and a young coach who now needs to like learn how to be a head coach, like, yeah, that can be a little problematic. That could be the chances of that imploding are higher than if you bring in a truly established head coach. Someone who knows how to run a team. So it's, like I said, it's a tricky situation. But I just don't know why the 49ers would possibly want to move on from Shanahan. And if you want to say, like, well, listen, it happened with some other coaches and stuff like that. And Colin now referenced Harbaugh and referenced Andy Reid. Yeah, those were big mistakes. The 49ers were really lucky that they got Shanahan instead of when they moved on from Harbaugh. The Eagles moving on from Andy Reid was a bad move. Andy Reid was not the problem. So moving on from him was not the solution. So this just, when I saw this clip, I was like, do I even want to do this right now? I mean, it's December. We have real football topics to talk about. We got real juicy stuff to get into. Like, this is a conversation that we have in like March. This is a conversation that we had, a week after the Super Bowl. I got major anxiety thinking about going back into those types of topics, because it's been so awesome to have real stuff to talk about. And from February up until, we have a little bit of a break from with the draft and stuff like that, like some real topics, but still, it's still made up speculation. No one knows anything. And then as we get into like preseason and stuff like that, then we get closer and closer. Usually August is when we finally get like some real stuff to talk about, but then really not until obviously like, when the first game is played. And I'm already thinking like, oh my God, we're going to have the same conversations again and again and again. Who would you want to start your team? Caleb Williams or Josh Allen? And it's like, well, Josh Allen you got to pay and Caleb Williams is on the rookie deal. Should Shanahan go to the Jacksonville Jaguars? And it's like, oh, I don't want to have these conversations. I don't want to do it. But now we're doing it in December. Should Shanahan go to the Chicago Bears? Who would you want? Ben Johnson or Shanahan? It's like, oh man. So I wanted to do this video mainly just to see how everyone else responds to it. Like, what are people's thoughts? Not only, I guess, on the topic itself, but then just like on this type of video in December. Because I'm just like, it's too theoretical. I'm all for these fun thought experiments, but it's like, I don't know. This just feels like, what are we talking about right now? Like, we got the Lions versus the Packers tomorrow. We got the Kansas City Chiefs talking about Hollywood Brown coming back, right? I mean, Eagles are rolling. Lions are kind of dealing with some injuries. Packers are ascending. Lamar Jackson saying that he's going to change his style of play right now, that he's going to start to run more. Like, I don't know, man. Josh Allen. Like we got some more interesting things to talk about right now rather than like, is Shanahan going to go to the Bears? Should he want to go to the Bears? Like, I don't know. You guys tell me, honestly. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about, Shanahan to the Bears? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.